Hello there, everyone. How are you today? Happy Friday. So today I'm going to be talking about 8 ways to train your brain to hate junk food. So my name is Kelsie Michaud, and I'm a certified health and life coach, and I help people to gain control of emotional eating so that they can feel healthy and confident as they make peace with food in their body. So let's dive right in because I have a bonus for you today. We're going to practice some mindful eating, but that's going to be at the end of our of the session here. Once I get through all these 8 ways to actually help you train your brain to hate junk food. Okay, so there's no denying that cravings for junk food in general, can be very, very powerful. And they give us these physiological reactions that are very carefully and strategically developed by food manufacturers. Many of our snacks, they are made with the perfect amounts of added sugar, salt, and fat, as well as these other chemicals. So all of this put together are designed to actually make us want more. So the solution to this is to just steer clear of the processed foods by eating, more healthy, whole foods as much as possible. And I know this sounds obvious, but the less junk food you eat, the less you actually want. So I have some suggestions for you. So if you're watching, please, give me a hello. Let me know you're here. And if you're catching the replay, comment #replay so I know you're here as well. So, okay, so let's continue with some suggestions here for you. So you want to look for those sneaky sugars. So look at labels and added sugars and sugars under other names where they're kind of in disguise. So there are so many sugars that fall under different names. So look for things like fructose, brown rice syrup, evaporated cane juice, honey, and agave nectar, things like that. You do not want to, you want to steer clear of those. And those are, it's just sugar. So the more sugar you have, the more you're going to crave it. So you might think that something doesn't have sugar because it doesn't say just the word sugar specifically, but those are some other ones that you can look for too. And here's a fun tip for you within my suggestions. Skip using a colored plate. A 2018 study actually found that people ate more pasta and drank more soda if they consumed if they were eating their meal on a red or black plate versus a white one. So to eat less overall, choose a white plate, and then get your color from your foods, like your fresh fruits and your fresh veggies, things like that. So you want to break your routine too, because you're going to rewire your brain when you're breaking your routine. So if you always associate, say, 3 o'clock in the afternoon with a snack, say, okay, 3 o'clock it's snack time, well, try to start a new tradition, to maybe go for a walk instead, or because this may help you actually just kick that craving altogether. A 2015 study of 48 people, they found that taking a 15-minute walk just temporarily reduced their cravings for these higher calorie, sugary type snacks. And some will actually tell you to keep sweets, out of sight or out of the house, and I've said that in the past as well. But I've put some more thought into that, and I really feel that it's just another way to avoid what you're really feeling, and that's not helping you to deal with what's really going on with your craving. So what I suggest instead, move your food, just put it further away or put it out of reach, or, just so that, if you would have to deliberately go search it out, as opposed to just having it close by you and where you just can grab for it mindlessly. Because research has actually showed or found that people were more likely to snack on grapes and crackers and chocolates, things like that, when they were just placed at arm's length compared to, when they were further away, or even behind other things in your cupboard or your pantry, things like that. And you want to keep the healthy stuff, you want to keep that like more in the front and center. So store your healthy foods that you want to eat more, right in the front, the front of your cupboard, the front of your fridge, ready, chopped up, diced up, whatever, ready to go. Snack foods are they're so easy to dig into. So if you just like rip open a bag, it's so easy to just rip open a bag of chips. But if you had something like red peppers all sliced up and ready to go right there in the front of your fridge, then you're more likely, they're more tempting and they're easier to just grab that way. And you can dip them into some hummus, which is always really good. And science also suggests there's a link because there was a study that showed that people who had like only fruit type foods in their kitchen, or they kept fruit on their kitchen counter, they had a lower body mass index compared to people who had these visible spaces with like candy and cereals and soft drinks, things like that. Hi Tony, how are you? Thanks for coming on. So another thing is you want to know your trigger foods, know what's going to trigger you. So whether you've got a sweet tooth for, say, chocolate, or you love like salty treats like pretzels, know those foods, know that they're going to send you down the rabbit hole and you're going to end up binging. So once you've identified them, then like I said, some will say keep them out of the house, but I say you need to face them head on and actually deal what's really going on beneath that craving. Because if you don't deal with that or if you don't deal with what's beneath there, what's going on with your craving, then you're going to find that you're going to just continue to go for it, even if you think you're not going to put it in the house. We end up coming home with it. We go to the grocery store and we bring it home and we beat ourselves up just for bringing it home before we even actually ate it. So you want to, once you've identified them, then, just face them head on and deal with what's really going on beneath your craving. Because if you don't, you need to what's important is to find another strategy, or it's never going to go away. So like I was mentioning earlier, let's trip our brain, let's rewire our brain into doing something else, because once you get used to doing something else, then it's automatically going to want to go towards whether you're just going for a walk or doing something else that you really enjoy and giving that craving time to pass. And my next suggestion is to like one way to really ensure that you eat less processed foods is to learn more about what you're really eating. So one way, like as an example, something that think of something that grosses you out. Maybe like something that grosses me out is thinking of like the frozen grilled chicken breasts that get their marks from machines that are infused with vegetable oil. And vegetable oil it's highly processed, it's inflammatory, so it's not something we want to be putting in our bodies. And the preservative BHA is also added to like processed foods like chips and preserved meats. And even though like the Health and Human Services consider it reasonably anticipated to be a carcinogen. So just thinking about that and knowing that I could possibly be putting something that disturbing in my body, that weirds me out, that grosses me out. So when you research, what you're eating and you read these ingredient labels like I do, I can, it can actually help you turn your own thinking and your habits into a healthier lifestyle, because you want to make good choices for yourself, and you want to put, you don't want to be putting chemicals and carcinogens and things like that into your body. And you want to try to cut back on the junk food gradually. So if you're someone who, you tend to binge, or you tend to keep things in the house, well, going cold turkey can be really difficult, and it can only cause you to binge again in the future. So don't try just going cold turkey. Cut down on your junk food by eating it in cut down in baby steps. Like for instance, if you take, say, 3 sugars in your coffee, reduce it to 2 sugars for a few weeks, then work your way down to 1, and so on and so on. And soon, then you'll notice that you only need like really small amounts to really satisfy your craving. And I can attest to that. I've done it. I don't remember how many sugars I even used to have anymore, because it's been so long that I really don't. I have 1 sugar, sometimes maybe half a sugar, if that. And sometimes I'll just have my coffee with no sugar at all, with just some little bit of cream. and just one cream, because even the sugar from the cream almost gets to be too much for me because I've weaned myself off of it. And now when you try to go back, it's like, oh my gosh, how did I ever enjoy this before? So hi Gail, how are you? Thanks for coming on with us. So you're just in time. We're going to learn how to eat mindfully. So I hope you have a snack with you. If you don't, go grab a quick little snack. It can be a cracker, it can be a raisin, it can be anything you like. And what mindful eating is it's a technique that helps you to gain control over your eating habits. So, you know, you're paying attention to your food more, and you're doing it on purpose, and you're doing it like moment by moment and without any judgment. And it's approach to food that focuses on your sensual awareness, and that way you're really able to experience the food. So what I'm going to do, I have a nice piece of 90% dark chocolate, just one square, and this is my little treat or snack. Sometimes I'll grab throughout the day. And dark chocolate, I believe I've heard different things. It's either 65 or 70%. As long as it's at least that percentage or higher, it's full of amazing, tons of benefits. And I mean, just some like, it's full of antioxidants. It's great for heart health. It reduces your inflammation and your insulin resistance, and it helps to improve your mood. And that's just to name a few off the top of my head. So dark chocolate it's really good for you. And again, like if you're somebody who likes milk chocolate and you'd like to get to be eating more like dark chocolate for the benefits, slowly wean yourself off, or slowly, start with a lower percentage of the dark chocolate, and eventually move yourself up. I think I don't know. I started at maybe 70%. Then we went up to the 80, and then so on and so on. And I continue to go up. Now I'm to 90%, and anything less than that is too sweet for me. So you can totally train your taste buds to need less sugar, to need and like less sugar. Okay, so when we eat mindfully, what you're going to do, grab your snack, and you're going to first just look at your food, examine its texture and its shape and its smell, smell your food. That chocolate does smell good. And what you're going to do is you're going to take just a very small bite. So take small bites without chewing. So once you take your bite, don't chew. Let it just sit in your mouth, move it around in your mouth, and let it kind of just melt and start to chew it slowly. I'll show you. Just a tiny bite, and I'm sorry, I'm talking with food in my mouth, but I want to explain to you. So I'm not chewing. I'm just gonna kind of let it sit there and just kind of let it melt on its own as it goes. And I'm going to just think about, okay, how is it feeling? Like, what is the texture like? And what you want to do is, remain still and imagine the food moving throughout your body and nourishing your body. Because when you finish eating, you want to ask yourself, okay, how do I feel? What does my body really need? And that's being more mindful when you're eating, just, taking time to slow down and, smell your food, look at the textures, feel the taste, feel the textures in your mouth. So you can do this, within your hands and then within your mouth. And mindful eating actually helps to boost our parasympathetic system, which is a chemical reaction that actually slows down your heart rate and your breathing. So by practicing mindfulness in just a general, it helps to increase your levels of the anti-anxiety neurotransmitters. And according to science, these neurotransmitters stabilize your appetite and improve digestion. So give it a little bit. And whatever it is, whether you're eating a cracker or even your dinner, if your dinner is like some vegetables or pasta or chicken, take a very small bite and let it just sit there in your mouth for a moment, and put your fork down, and then and then when you chew, you want to chew it fully. You want to make sure it's completely chewed when you do finally chew, because the more you chew it, the more fully chewed it is, the better you're going to digest. And then you're going to feel so much better after. And by slowing down and being mindful with your meals and your snacks, studies have actually shown that people end up eating less in the long run because you're slowing down and you're able to feel your fullness sooner too when you slow down. So I hope that was helpful for you. And let me know if you have any questions at all about the content I just covered or any questions about your own health or weight goals. And if you'd like, we can jump on a complimentary phone call and we can talk about where you're at, where you'd like to go, and how I can take you from where you're at now to where you'd like to go. So I hope everyone has a very beautiful Friday and a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.